Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video it is extremely depressing outside. Dude, I don't know if anybody else lives up in New England right now, but in Connecticut it has been literally like 50 degrees, no sun whatsoever, and raining for a week, and apparently it's still gonna happen for another week. So I am depressed and not happy at all. Seasonal depression is absolutely a thing, and it's even worse when it's supposed to be nice out. Like, it's May, about to be June, it's supposed to be beautiful, and it's not, and my dogs are barking. Like, it just couldn't get anywhere. And then on top of that, I had Chinese food today for dinner. Walked downstairs with my plate of Chinese food. Guess what happens? Fork falls right on the ground. And it's not the worst, and it's not like the end of the world or anything like that, but it had food on it, so there goes a little bit nice little bite of food just on the ground. It's just like every little thing, you know, it's one of those days. So just every little thing is going wrong. So if I seem grouchy today, that's the reason why, man. I'm not having a great day. But today's video is going to be talking about the top 30 most underrated, unknown, forgotten about, whatever you want to call it, JDM cars of all time, in my personal opinion. Ranking them in order of like least underrated to most underrated, if that makes sense, not from like worst to best. So what I'm trying to say is 30th place is not the worst of these cars, it's what I believe to be the most underrated of these cars, if that makes sense. Song of the day is called Him All Along by Gunna. It is obviously a rap song, so if you don't like rap music, don't listen to it, but if you do, give it a try, man. I didn't think I liked like the mumble rap Gunna Young Thug style stuff, but dude, this one's got a hold on me. I like this song. It's a banger, okay? Without further ado, let's get right into it though with number 30 of the 30 most underrated JDM cars of all time. And coming in at the number 30 spot is going to be going to the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. Like I said before, man, this car I'm not saying is the worst on this list. I just want to make it abundantly clear that it's just a list of like which ones I think are more underrated than the others. And I think the 3000 GT is getting to a point where almost everybody kind of knows it exists, and thank God, because this car honestly quite literally deserves to be like one of the most legendary JDM cars of all time, talked about in the same regards as things like the I don't know, FD RX-7, NA1 NSX, Mark IV Supra, yeah, R34 GTRs, those types of cars. I think that this car deserves to be in the same conversation with them, and it's starting to get there, thank God. Speaking of R34s, but this is not an R34, coming in at the number 29 spot is going to the Nissan Skyline R32 sedan. Obviously, the R32 Skyline GTR is stupidly popular. Like, it's honestly, at this point, it might even be a little bit overrated. Now, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it might be. There's a good chance. And there's even gotten to the point where the R32 GTST coupes are pretty talked about, and even those are really well known. But the R32 sedans, I feel like, are still kind of forgotten about. There are definitely the drifters. I want to make that abundantly clear as well, that this video is for the average car guy. I know there's going to be one guy in here that's like a JDM fan, and he's like, no, I've known about that car for 2 years. Yeah, well, bro, like, your entire life is JDM cars. It's like me, man. Me and you are the same, you know? We love JDM cars, but for the average guy, looking at an R32 sedan is not much of anything, but yeah, we love it. And coming in at 28th place is another one of those cars where, again, it's like, if you're a JDM fan to the point where you know like every JDM car out there, yeah, you've probably heard of this car before. But again, I just want to make that kind of clear right now at the beginning of the video before we get further in, and then people are already commenting it and being like, I've known about that car for 2 years. It's like, yeah, but bro, you know every JDM car to ever exist because you're just like that. That's your thing, you know? Anyways, 28th place is a Subaru SVX. Flat 6, horribly unreliable, doesn't make really much of any power. It's kind of not that great of a car, if I'm being honest, but because of that, no one talks about him. Now, I understand that, you know, this is definitely not the best car out there, I just said that, but I still think they're a cool looking car that more people should appreciate. Coming in at the number 27 spot, this, again, we're getting to, these are still the cars where they're definitely talked about a little bit here and there. People know them. I just think that they're a little slept on. 27th place is a Nissan 300ZX Z31. The Z31 pretty much didn't get any love because of its looks, and that was pretty much it. People didn't think that the Z31 looked good, but in terms of the actual car itself, it was relatively fine for a 90s or 80s, I should say, sports car. And at this point, I honestly feel like people are starting to come around to the looks. I personally know that I am. I like the looks of the Z31 now. I think it looks different and unique and just so 80s and retro that it honestly kind of works for me. I like the car. Coming in at 26th place is it goes from like an 80s JDM car to a very modern JDM car, the Lexus LC500. Now I know people are gonna comment below and be like, Lexus is American brand, it's not JDM, blah blah blah. You know what I mean when I say JDM, you freaking you troglodyte. I don't know what that. Okay, whatever. At 26th place, yeah, the LC500, man. This is like the modern day SC300, and we all love the SC300s, correct? Correct, obviously, you better. And the LC500 is literally, like I said, just a modern day version of that. It's a luxury Lexus. Some people say that the reason why they don't talk about them is because they're too expensive. I do understand that. These are like still almost six-figure cars, which is insane. But dude, they're freaking gorgeous. They have really good performance and an incredible interior. Coming in at the number 25 spot, however, is going to be going to the Lexus GS300 first generation, or the Aristo VS161 or VZ161, something like that. I don't remember the name of, or the chassis code of that car. But either way, yeah, I already think the second gen GS300, which is the most well-known GS300, is an underrated car. I mean, most people in the car community know about the SC300s and the IS300s, but only true JDM fans know that the GS300 is pretty much the same thing. But the first gen is even more slept on, and even less people know about that. Dude, I'm gonna be 100% honest, I only recently found out about this car, maybe last year. Like, maybe last year I found out about the first gen GS300 and that it was a thing and how cool it actually is. Now I kind of like it. From one first generation monster to another one, coming in at the number 24 spot is going to be going to the Toyota Celica first generation. Realistically, the entire line of Celica kind of belongs here, if I'm being honest. Every Celica is just like, no one who talks about them, you know what I mean? It's just like, I guess you could say the 6th gen GT4 is a pretty well-known car at this point, but I mean, it deserves to be well-known, you know what I mean? The first gens are super sick, and they were still rear-wheel drive, which is awesome in my opinion. They were good-looking cars. They looked like, it was kind of cool because they looked like almost a, it's almost like a pocket muscle car. I loved that about like 60s and 70s JDM cars, is they kind of looked like little muscle cars almost, and that's what this thing looked like. It was cool looking, it handled well, and it started an incredible line of JDM cars that is completely forgotten about today. Coming in at 23rd place is another car where, again, we're still in the part where it's like, yeah, if you're a true JDM fan, obviously you know these cars exist, but the vast majority, I would say at this point, like 70% of car guys don't know these exist, but the other 30% are the JDM fans. And this is a Nissan Saphiro A31. It's an import over here in America that we can buy for under 10K. That's very special for us because a lot of the imported JDM cars over here are not under 10 grand. This is one of them that you can find. And the reason why is because realistically, they're not that special. There's a ton of them out there. They were built in all kinds of, as a matter of fact, if you're not from America, you're probably scratching your head like, how is this underrated? This is like, in a lot of countries, this is like their Civic, or they're like S13, like everybody has them over there. But in America, they're kind of slept on because we do have cars like the S13. Speaking of S chassis, would you look at that? Coming in at the number 22 spot, 22nd location, is the Nissan Sylvia S12, the car that came right before the wonderful S13. The S13 is super popular. Some might even go as far as to say it's overrated, and I might be one of those people. I'm one of those people. The S13 is overrated. But the S12 right before it was a cool car as well. The Sylvia line has more than just the S13, S14, and S15 that we all have come to know and love. Now, the reason why the S13s, 14s, and 15s are so popular is because of, yes, the SR20 debt, and the S12 did not have the SR20, but it's still a really cool car. It has that beautiful retro styling where it kind of looks exactly like a Mark III Supra, and like every 80s JDM car kind of looked the same, and it's awesome. Coming in at 21st place, barely missing out on the top 20. I actually just made a video, a good, bad, and ugly, all about this car. It's the Toyota Mark II JZX90. Now, the Toyota Chaser, what do you guys think about that? I know what you think about that, you sons of guns. You think it's really cool, and you think it's underrated, but we all know it's not actually underrated. At this point, it's very well known. The Mark IIs are pretty much the same cars, just with a different body on them, and that's literally it. The Mark II JZX90 comes with a 1JZ GTE. That's absolutely incredible. And again, yeah, the drifting fans and the true JDM fans love these cars, and the Tourer Vs are close to like 20 grand now. And so yeah, they're still like wanted, popular cars, sure, but if you go to a car show with a Toyota Mark II JZX90, I guarantee 80% of people there will not know what that is. Breaking its way into the top 20, another one. We'd already talked about one of these earlier, but this one's even more underrated. It's the Nissan Skyline R33 sedan. One can argue the R33 GTR is underrated because it's quote-unquote better than the R32. It's pretty much what they were going for, and they did succeed on that. Lap times wise, the R33 GTR is a faster car than the R32 was. And people always kind of forget about the R33. It's the ugly child. It's the red-headed stepchild of the family. But then you get again into the aspect of, if it's not a GTR, nobody talks about it because the Skylines are just kind of forgetting about. And then if it's not a coupe, it's forgotten about. So this is literally a sedan, non-GTR Skyline, and I guarantee most people, like, dude, I show my mom pictures of like JDM cars that I want to own one day, and sometimes she's just like, that's so ugly, why would you want that? Because it's literally, to them, this is just a sedan. This is just a literal economy sedan. Coming in at 19th place, however, is going to one that I've mentioned a couple times in my videos because I like it, but I feel like a lot of people don't. The Acura Legend. The Acura Legend, for those who don't know, was the very first ever Acura produced. This was Acura only came out in the 90s in order to rival, I think it was Lexus that came out first. But yeah, in order to rival Lexus and make a Japanese American car brand, which again, I know the whole people are going to be mad about the idea of using Acuras, Infinitis, Lexuses in this video because they're not true JDM, but you know what I'm saying, man. But yeah, the Acura Legend was just a super cool looking car. Realistically speaking, I don't know much about this car in terms of its performance. I don't think it was actually that good in terms of performance or anything like that. But I think it just looks really unique. It looks really nice. And it's a literal legend in Acura and Honda's history. Speaking of legendary Hondas from history, coming in at 18th place is going to be going to the wonderful Honda Prelude 3rd generation. The Honda Prelude in general, I made a whole video about, it's one of my most viewed videos of all time on this channel. It's a deep dive on the Honda Prelude. And the Honda Prelude, in my opinion, is one of the most slept on like lines of Japanese sports cars of all time. Almost any generation deserves to be here, but I'm going with the 3rd gen in particular, because when you do think of Preludes, I feel like most people think of the 5th or 4th gens, when the 3rd gens are like the coolest. It's for those who don't know, the 3rd gen Prelude SI is the first ever SI car built by Honda, which is already super cool. This car had 4-wheel steering and active aero and pop-up headlights. Looks absolutely gorgeous. There is nothing about the 3rd gen Prelude that's not cool. And yeah, again, there are definitely people that know of the Prelude name, but I feel like when they think of Prelude, they think of 5th or 4th gens, and that's insane when the 3rd gen is the coolest. Coming at 17th place is another car that's actually perfect for a list, just like the Prelude, honestly. It's the Toyota MRS. This is what I always call it, but some people are like, that's not what it's called. It's called the MR2 Spider. It's the newest version, the final generation of the Toyota MR2, okay? The one that was like only available as a convertible and looked really bad. And that's the reason why nobody ever talks about them, because they looked bad. They didn't look good. They looked kind of weird and like girly and really boxy too. They were like really squared off. Every headlight and tail light was all square, which was weird, and so people didn't really vibe with that well. But the car itself was literally just an improvement on the SW20 MR2 that we all do love. And I don't understand how it went under the radar like that. Like, this car is insanely good for what it was trying to be, and it fixed the one problem that the MR2s did have: snap oversteer. Yes, it still has some, but it's very, very unlikely to happen when you compare them to things like the SW20s and AW11s. Was that what that was called? AW11? I looked it up real quick because that was going to drive me nuts. It is the AW11. The AW11 was the first generation of the MR2. Either way, 16th place is going to be going to the Mazda MX6. Now, if you are an avid viewer of the old Mark Roden channel, first of all, thank you very much. I will send you a picture of my scrotum later on in the night. But I talk about these cars all the time. So to you, you're probably like, whoa, wait a minute. That is not an underrated car at all. I've heard of that car in 10 different videos now. Yeah, well, all 10 of those videos were probably by Mark Roden. I have never seen another person really talk about these cars in their videos. I've kind of just only found out about them from one of you guys actually a long time ago commented something and said, did you know that there was another version of the MX5 afterwards? It was called the MX6, and it was kind of a disappointment, and nobody talks about it. I looked it up and was like, wow, that actually is pretty cool. And you're absolutely right. These cars are absolutely hidden. Now, the reason why people don't talk about these cars and the reason why they don't like them is because they're front wheel drive. They don't have great motors. They don't make a lot of power. They're not that good of a sports car, and they're honestly kind of a step down from the MX5, but they're really cool looks wise, and that's enough for me. From one Mazda to another Mazda, coming in at the number 15 spot is going to the Mazda Unos Cosmo. Realistically speaking, I could do like a top 30 Mazda only list. Mazda is just like probably one of the most underrated car brands of all time. Like, yeah, we know about the RX-7s and the Miatas, but there's so much more than just the RX-7s and Miatas. Either way, 15th place is the Mazda Unos Cosmo. Again, this car is starting to get its praise for sure. There are more and more people starting to learn about these cars. And again, if you're a JDM fan, you already know about these cars because every JDM fan knows about the Unos Cosmo. It's the only 3-rotor powered freaking Mazda ever created, and it was an absolute beast of a car in terms of its engine. The rest of the car, a little bit too big of a wheelbase, not that great in terms of performance, but it looked cool and it had an insanely rare and awesome and desirable engine in it. And again, the JDM fans, they love this car. As a matter of fact, I guarantee a lot of us right now are sitting there scratching our heads going, I wish freaking Unos Cosmos were underrated in the JDM world, but in the rest of the world, I guarantee they don't know these. Coming in at 14th place, this is actually so for those who don't know, I made two videos recently talking about completely forgotten unknown cars, and I asked for recommendations in the comments below, and this car kept making it in the comments over and over and over again. The Mitsubishi Star. This is kind of the reason why I wanted to do this video, by the way. It's not a direct, like, you know, sequel to those videos, but it is a video similar to those, obviously talking about underrated cars. But yeah, the Mitsubishi Star or Chrysler Conquest, but this is JDM car, so we're talking about the Mitsubishi version, was just a really cool looking Mitsubishi sports car. Realistically speaking, again, it kind of fell under the radar because it didn't do too much. It was, you know, trying to go up against cars like the Eclipse GSX, the 3000 GT VR4, and the Evo in Mitsubishi's runtime, and it just wasn't good enough to do that. But it was a really cool looking, really retro, pop-up headlights, beautiful car. Third time in one video? Say what? Yeah, baby. Coming in at the number 13 spot is another Nissan Skyline. Talking about the Nissan Skyline R31. Obviously, the R32, R33s, and R34s are super talked about cars, super loved cars, and for good reason. They're awesome cars. You know, they're really cool cars, don't get me wrong. But what started it all was the Prince Skylines all the way back in the old days. And you got the Hakasuka, and everybody loved the Hakasuka. That one's talked about quite a bit because it's a legendary car. Then you had whatever the other one was called, the Ken Mary or whatever it was. And then you had the R30s, R31s before the R32s, and those are just literally just like completely forgotten about, like wiped off the face of the earth, I feel like, for the rest of the car guys. Now, yeah, it's not as good as an RB26 powered all-wheel drive monster. Sure, I understand that, but it's still a cool freaking car. And coming in at 12th place, another Mazda. Would you look at that? Just, again, I could have literally done a whole Mazda list altogether. It's the Mazda MX3. Another car, actually, that was recommended by the comments of one of my recent videos. But yeah, the MX3 is this weird little front-wheel drive compact Mazda that, again, just like the MX6, really didn't do too much, and it's really only here because I think it looks cool, and it does handle pretty well, I'll give it that. But besides that, it's really not that special, and it's for the MX line, the MX5 is still definitely the best one, the most sought after, and for good reason, but this is still a cool car that I feel like some people might fall in love with if they've never heard of it before. Coming in at 11th place, barely missing out on the wonderful top 10, is going to be going to the Toyota Mark II JZX100. Yeah, 1 second. I had like a egg or something in my mouth there. I feel like a bug planted something in me there. But yeah, the Mark II JZX100 is literally just a better version. Oh my god. What is happening? Are they actually like actively planting eggs in my mouth? What's going on? It's a better version of the JZX90 we just talked about earlier. It's the newer version. It's got the same engine in it, 1JZ GTE, which is obviously great, but it just upgraded everything else. I think the looks of it are significantly cooler. As a matter of fact, this is one of those cars that I love so much that I look at them almost all the time on Facebook Marketplace. I look for GX100s, which are much worse than the JZX100s, but still, I look for this body style all the time. I love them that much. I think they're so slept on and so freaking cool. If you like the Chaser JZX100, you would, I think this car is so much cooler than the Chaser, in my personal opinion. However, breaking its way into the wonderful top 10 is going to be going to the Mitsubishi FTO. The FTO, man, weird looking car, front wheel drive too, and that's kind of why people don't really talk about them too much. They're front wheel drive, imports only. Actually, I think we did get them in America, just not a lot of them. I think it's very, very rare. And they're weird looking cars. They're it's an acquired taste kind of vehicle for sure. I don't know if I like sometimes, like I like the front end of FTOs personally. I think the front end on them look really nice, but then the rear ends I don't really necessarily. I don't vibe with that. I don't jive with it, man. It's not my favorites, but there's definitely a certain person out there that will love these cars, and I feel like unless you've played Gran Turismo, you probably never heard of them. Coming in at 9th place, pretty much the same thing, actually almost exactly the same, but just Toyota version. It's going to the Toyota Serra, another comment recommended car actually for one of these videos, which by the way, again, leave comments below if you for the next video, because we're definitely going to do some more underrated car videos in the future. So leave some comments below on cars you think I should do in the next up ones, not just JDM cars. I want all kinds of cars, but yeah, leave some cars below. This is one of the ones that I did know about, but sometimes you guys leave comments and I've never even heard of them before. Look them up and I get so excited because I'm like, wow, I just found out a new dream car. The Toyota Serra I have heard about. I'm not the biggest fan of them. They kind of look like a slightly bigger version of the MX3, to be honest, but they do have one cool little quirk about them, and that is gull wing doors or suicide doors. I don't know which one is which. I never know. Scissor doors? I don't know. But the ones that don't open normally, they open upwards, which is really cool, and that's kind of their whole selling point. And coming in at 8th place is a comment recommended car in one of my most recent videos that I never knew about. Finally, up until this point, every one of these cars I've known about myself. Some of them were comment recommended, but I knew them anyways. This is one where I finally never knew it even existed until I comment, and it's the Mitsubishi Diamante. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but it's a cool looking machine, man. That's pretty much all there is to it. I think it looks really, really cool. It could be, well, it most likely is just some front wheel drive economy car that just looked cool. Kind of like, you know how like the 7th gen Galants over here in America, like they looked really cool, but they weren't really anything special, to be honest, especially when you compare them to the other VR4 Gallants. That's kind of like what this car reminds me of. I'm sure there's not anything really under the hood that it's hiding, but I don't care because it looks nice. And some people like to modify freaking, I don't know, cars that have absolutely nothing under the hoods anyways, so why not? Coming in at 7th place, I've talked about this car quite a bit on my channel. It's one of those cars, again, that I constantly look at on Facebook Marketplace because I want one so bad. It's the Toyota Soarer Z20. I'm a big Soarer fan. As a matter of fact, I love the Z30s. I think that, honestly speaking, the SC300 is probably one of my favorite JDM cars of all time. I love them that much. The Z20s are unbelievably cool to me, dude. They have an insanely perfect retro styling, but like this aggressive and also luxurious at the same time style to them. It is so perfect what they did with the Z20 Soarers, and I feel like nobody talks about it. The Soarer line in general is kind of like forgotten about and not talked about that much, but then you get like, yeah, the Z30s are definitely the most popular, and even those are slept on, bro. The Z20s, like, no one knows about them, and they're just so cool. I mean, I'm happy that no one knows about them because it gives me a chance to own them one day, but still, man. And coming in at the number 6 spot, another car where if you've watched Mark Roden's videos before, you've definitely heard about it before. It's the Toyota Cressida MX83. Dude, if one of these days, I should do a video, by the way, because I just realized it with the Soarer Z20 and the Mark II JZX100, where it was like, I should do a video where it's like my 10-car garage, but they're all like cars that you would never expect type of deal, because those 2 cars would definitely make it. Like those cars, I don't know, the Soarer Z20 and the Mark II JZX100 are just so cool to me, and I just feel, I don't know why. It's just one of those kinds of cars, you know, everybody has them. Everybody has those cars where they can't really explain why they love them so much to other people. They're just so weird and out there and different from like other people's tastes, but they just work for them. Either way, yeah, the MX83 Cressida is just really cool. Again, drifters, don't comment below being like, what do you mean? I want one of those so bad. Obviously you do. Every drifter just wants, if it's rear-wheel drive and JDM, you guys want it. Okay, let's be honest, you guys are junkies for rear-wheel drive stuff. Okay, I don't blame you, man. I love rear-wheel drive too, but that's what you guys do, man. But the rest of the world, if they look at an MX83 Cressida, I guarantee they're like, that is the most boring sedan I've ever seen. Speaking of cars that the rest of the world would probably just look at and think it's a really boring sedan, coming in at 5th place is a comment recommended car that I actually already had in one of my recent videos of the underrated cars like series, I guess you can call it, that I never knew about until like I commented it, the Nissan Laurel C35. Now I did know about the Nissan Laurel because I knew about the C33 Laurels, and I was actually going to include the C33 Laurels on this video, but then I remembered, hey, yeah, the C35, that's right, that guy just talked about it, and it was one of the cars that I didn't even know. So I guarantee less people would know about the C35 Laurels and people that know about the C33s, and that's the reason why I put this one here. In terms of like performance and everything, I'm pretty sure these cars come with an SR20, which is really cool, obviously. I do think they have RBs as well, but I don't think they're RB26. That's, somebody will let me know in the comments, and I'll feel like an idiot because I'll be like 100% wrong. But yeah, it's a really just cool looking sedan that's rear-wheel drive and JDM. That's, again, all I want. Coming in at 4th place, kind of completely different, actually. Couldn't be more different from the Laurel we just talked about. It's going to the Mitsubishi Legum. The Mitsubishi Legum, like I said before, it could not be further from the Laurel C35. The Laurel is a sedan rear-wheel drive car. This is an all-wheel drive wagon. It is literally the Galant VR4s, which are already super cool cars, but Wagnum version. And that's even cooler. The Galant VR4 in general is already, I think, a pretty underrated car too, because everybody just remembers the Evos, obviously, because the Evos kind of took over there for Mitsubishi. So everyone just remembers the Evos and just completely forgets that the Galants ever existed and were as cool as they were. And they were insane. For those who don't know, man, the Galants were like what started Mitsubishi's rally heritage. So if it wasn't for them, they would never have even built the Evos. And the Legum is just a wagon version of that. So cool. Coming in at 3rd place is a car that I've always thought was so weird looking, and I can't, like, some days I like it because of how weird it looks, but then some other days I hate it because of how weird it looks. It's going to the Nissan Leopard Y32. Dude, this thing, in America, I believe it's called the Infiniti i30, by the way. We do have these in America, but this thing is so wacky, bro. It looks so weird. It comes with the same motor that was in the 300ZXs, which is, you know, fine. I guess it's not the best motor out there or anything. It's not the worst, so you'll be happy with it. But it's a rear-wheel drive sedan with a very unique body lines to it. And since they're so underrated and nobody ever talks about them, you never really get to see them modified. But I guarantee if people started modifying these cars and like making them look cool, there could be some beautiful ones out there. And coming in at second place is another JDM car that was comment recommended, and I never knew about it until I made that video. The Nissan Primera P11. This thing is just, yeah, it's one. This is exactly what I like, man. Just super small sedan, short wheelbase, lightweight handling monsters from Japan that like nobody else knows about, and that is exactly what the Nissan Primera P11 is. It did have a BTCC run, I believe, if that's what it's called. I don't know if that's I can't remember the abbreviation right now, but it was a race car for a little while. There was a P11 race car version of it, and I believe it was called BTCC. The only slight downside is these cars are front wheel drive, obviously, which is I would rather it be rear wheel drive, but it's still really cool. And coming in at first place, in my opinion, the most slept on, unknown JDM legend that should honestly be talked about with the likes of cars like the FTO RX-7, Mark IV Super, R34 GTR, and NA1 NSX is going to the Toyota Caldina GT4. This is pretty much, just like the Mitsubishi Legum actually, a wagon version of a legendary Group B race car. Well, actually, I don't think it was Group B, but a very good rally racing car. For those who don't know, the Celica GT4 was an insane rally car in the 90s. It was very dominant. It was awesome. Everybody loves these Celica GT4s. Even those, I think, are kind of slept on, though, if I'm being honest. Like, even the Celica GT4s, like I said earlier, I do think more people should talk about them. This is a wagon version of that, just like we were talking about earlier with the Legum, and we already know how I feel about those. The Legum was cool because the Gallants are cool cars as well, but this is even cooler because like the Gallants, realistically the reason why they went to the Evos is because they weren't winning that much with the Gallants. It wasn't the best car out there for them. The Celica won, gosh darn it, so this thing was just dominant, and it's a wagon. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 25 most underrated JDM cars in the entire world. I don't know why I said 25, just 30. Top 30 most underrated JDM cars in the entire world. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias or YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I would greatly appreciate any sort of comments that you guys will leave down below for other underrated cars that you think I might never have heard of or whatever for the future videos. I think this is becoming one of my favorite series to talk about, and you guys are seeming to like it too. The views are doing pretty good, so that's obviously fantastico. But anyway, yeah, let me know what cars you guys think I should include, and thank you guys so much for watching. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.